Chairman, I wanted to just ask a question / make a statement, and that is that I find it a little bit curious that the language that basically carves out government employees. So on one hand, we're making an argument that the cost per employee in additional insurance premiums is very low. I don't know if it is or isn't, but yet on the other hand, carving this out tells me that you know that cost to the state at this point in time is not acceptable because of the financial stress that we're under. So how do we reconcile those two things that seem to be very much in conflict with each other?
Delegate Nixon, I realize I'm speaking to the Patron bill last year, and I can only tell you that the world we live in, sometimes our fiscal notes come with perspective or slant. And this is an attempt, and again, I go back to South Carolina, where they've had it in effect now, and it has not broken the bank. And this is a way to try to get this accomplished, bring in the state employees in a couple of years, and provide the coverage to as many people as we can in Virginia.
Mr. Chair, if I could ask a question, a little bit different way to Dr. O'Bannon, because I know he's on the Appropriations Committee. Would the gentleman agree or disagree if the cost were even a penny or more, that making this bill work in Virginia in these circumstances apply to government employees would be a difficult thing to do?
I would not disagree with the gentleman.
All right, further discussion from the subcommittee. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move to report.
All right, there's a motion to report House Bill 303 as amended. Is there a second?
I second.
And a second. Discussion on the motion. Let me say a little bit myself. I've sat through and listened now to several lengthy public hearings on this. I had real reservations about the measure that came before us last year. It was very sweeping, and the costs that were associated with it, I thought, were very significant, and ones that we had to keep in mind with some of the things that have been said by business and by the health plans in our hearing tonight. I've looked at it over the years. It's been a matter that over the course of this year, it's been a matter of a lot of consideration for me, and the thing that I come back to is that early intervention makes the greatest amount of change, and we're talking about a very substantial change, potentially, that has positive ramifications for the Commonwealth and much more intimately for the families and the kids who are affected by this. I don't ordinarily vote for mandates. I am very reluctant for the state to intrude on this. But I do think in this case, with the provisions, with the focus that this bill has had, with the work that has been taken, that this one has taken into account a number of the concerns that have been brought, and for that reason I'm going to vote for that motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
First was Delegate Morgan, and then we'll...
Mr. Chairman,